Hello! I'm here today with my mom, Jade Ann Chapman, a SCAD survivor. What is SCAD?
Spontaneous coronary artery dissection.
What happens when you have SCAD?
There's an abrupt tear in the wall of the artery that blocks the blood flow. Thus, there's a heart attack.
How is it different than regular heart attacks?
Well, the diagnosis procedure is the same in the emergency room, but oftentimes people that present with SCAD don't have the same risk factors that traditional heart attack victims have, like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, inactivity, and age roughly over 65.
What causes the tear in the artery?
Prior to 2012, there was really very little information on SCAD and actually what is happening and why. There's still the research is being done, and there seems to be a connection with hormones in females. Sometimes you'll see SCAD happen in a person that is pregnant or postpartum or going through menopause, but there are other groups of people that have them that don't have any of those affiliations, so they don't really know. They're also looking at some of the genetic components, and in my situation, it was probably exertion related when I was first diagnosed, but I also realized that when I had my situation that I probably had a SCAD when I was having a C-section and giving birth to my son, because it was the exact same intense pressure feeling on my chest, discomfort in the back of my arms and up through my jaw.
What tests did they do to find it?
I did an EKG on no instances with me was there ever a positive EKG that indicated there's any problem wrong. There was no arrhythmia indicated, but the echocardiogram showed a deviation, and then the true diagnosis was with they do a troponin, which is a blood level test they do that indicated an elevation of that protein in the blood, and that's kind of something that's released when there's a heart attack. So was the clue the last two times that definitely had a SCAD event. And then the catheterization the second time showed exactly where the dissection was.
So, how many times have you had a SCAD heart attack that you know of?
Well, we assumed that I did have one in 2004 with the birth of my son, and then I've had two since then, so a total of 3.
So the first one occurred when you were giving birth, but when did the other 2 heart attacks?
It was actually a C-section. That was in 2004, and then more recently in 2017, and then the following year, 2018.
What were you doing when you had the heart attack?
2017, I was at a farm running and hauling rocks in to make a border around the flower bed, and I didn't really think I could possibly have a heart attack, so I let it go for 3 days and continued to do distance running, but it was quite uncomfortable by the 3rd day, so that's when your dad took me in. And
so what do you say, the pressure, did it remain constant?
It eased up some without the exertion, but I kept taking. I had a feeling something maybe was going on, so I was taking aspirin, and I also was taking asthma inhaler, thinking maybe it had to do with.
So, what causes the recurrence? Does it not heal properly?
I was told that after my catheterization, and I did multiple tests ongoing out from there, and I was told that everything was healed. I know that the second instance, or maybe the third instance I had of the SCAD was a doctor had told me that I could discontinue my medication because I'd had a year of not having any issues with my heart. So, and ironically, a month after that was when the third SCAD happened. So,
Is it the same artery?
I did not have the catheterization for that diagnosis. It probably is because there probably is some weakness there, but there's not. I don't have any detailed information to say so. That mostly the treatment post SCAD. Oftentimes, some doctors give a stent, put in stents, but I didn't have a stent. My doctor was under the belief that oftentimes that contributes to more of a tear. But usually the course of treatment is a cardiac rehab program after the fact, as well as medical maintenance with medications.
Did you do cardiac rehab?
I did not. Only because I did my own.
So you're supposed to?
Yeah, it was too far away, and I'm not, but I'd like to think I'm an expert because I'm an exercise physiologist, so I did my own.
Any studies that are happening or have gone on?
I'm in a study with Mass General Hospital. It's a mass study of everybody that goes through their program, and it's a genetic study. It kind of looks at all the risk factors of the person that had the SCAD event, and their family connections, etc. But I don't know any of the results of that. I think it's ongoing for the next 5 years.
Okay. Thanks.
Love you, sweets.
Love you.